A lot of guys see my Instagram posts and see that I'm traveling quite frequently. In fact, I used to travel nonstop. I was a perpetual traveler, meaning I was a digital nomad. I didn't have a home for 4 years, and I just traveled all around the world. And at the time, I wasn't making what I make now. I wasn't wealthy. So let's talk about how you can travel 90% of the year or more on a low budget. And first of all, I want you to understand that it doesn't have to cost as much as you think. A lot of people think, oh, traveling, living in hotels, and going on all these trips and just being a digital nomad is just going to cost so much money. It really doesn't have to. There is a way to do it on a budget. Let me explain. Number one, get a credit card or multiple credit cards that have points, that acquire points that you can use towards airline miles. The good thing is too, a lot of these credit cards like Capital One Venture Card or Sapphire give you a bunch of points just for signing up and hitting a certain amount of spend in the first month or 3 months. And the amount of points that they give you oftentimes is enough for a one-way flight all across the world, all the way to the other side of the planet. So it's a free flight from the United States to Asia, for example, or Europe. And then once you're there, once you're in that region, regional flights are a lot less expensive. Every country or every region, in my experience, has budget airlines for just a few $100s. In fact, if you're flying within the country, sometimes it's less than $100. I've gotten flights that are $20, $30, $40. Plus, you don't need to fly every other day. You can stay in one city for a week. Enjoy that city. If you're a single guy, meet the women, experience the city fully for a couple weeks, and then go somewhere else. In fact, an Airbnb is often 50% cheaper when you book an entire month. Now, the other option that's even cheaper than an Airbnb are hostels, especially if you are going to go on small trips. If you don't want to stay in some place for a long time, you're just going to go check out a couple cities for a couple days. Hostels are great. I don't do it anymore. I'm 42 years old. I'm over hostels. But if you're a younger guy, or even if you are an older guy but you haven't traveled much, hostels can be great. I've seen guys in their 50s and 60s staying at hostels. Not only are they really cheap, but it's very easy to meet people because you'll have a bunch of people in your room. And a lot of times they're co-ed, which is cool. You meet guys and girls. One time, staying in Koh Phangan, Thailand for a full moon festival, me and my buddy stayed in a hostel with 15 girls. There were no other guys in the hostel. We didn't end up hooking up with any of them. We went out with all of them. Well, not all of them, but some of them, and ended up leaving them. They were kind of lame. I don't know. We didn't really like what they were doing, but I ended up bringing a girl back to the hostel at 3 in the morning with 15 girls asleep in my hostel. And we had fun. It was a good experience. So anyways, I've had that's just one experience. I've had many fun, interesting experiences in hostels. And you meet cool people. I have lifelong friends that I'm still in touch with. And if we happen to be in the same place, we'll meet up. So it's cheap, you meet people. There's really no downside except for the people snoring in your room. That kind of sucks, but get some earplugs and it'll be fine. So those are really your biggest expenses. Flights and other forms of travel, of course. But again, if you're visiting Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, or certain parts of Latin America, traveling from one city to another city or taking Ubers or taxis or whatever they have is a lot cheaper than the US. So you're not going to be spending that much. Plus, stay in a hostel where you can walk to most of the cool activities. Like, do your research ahead of time and just make sure you're staying in a cool, lively place. And of course, there's going to be other expenses. If you're a single guy, you're going on dates, but food, again, in these countries doesn't cost that much. Yeah, if you're traveling around Scandinavia, you're going to be spending a decent buck. I would wait, if you don't have a lot of money, wait a few years. Make money. And maybe in 5 years, then you can go to Japan and Scandinavia, Western Europe, and places that cost a little bit more money. But in the meantime, there's a lot of inexpensive countries that you can visit. In fact, I traveled all around India and we stayed, I don't know why we stayed at hostels and cheap hotels there, but $4 a night we were spending back then. This was 2011, I think. So maybe it's $6 now, but who cares? Really, really cheap. Yeah, definitely not nice places that I would stay nowadays, but hey, I had amazing experiences. So what's holding you back? If you want to travel, just do it. Assuming you have a little bit of money, not a lot, but $1,000, couple $1,000 to be safe. Take the time off work or have a gap year, meaning it's in between school or between school and work after you graduate, and go see the world. At least go see a few places. You never know. You might get the travel bug, and that can completely change your life. You might realize, wow, I want to do this all the time. I need to figure out how I can be a digital nomad, how I can work online, or how I can start my own online business. It also grows you as a person because you're dropped into another country, you don't know anybody, or you can go travel with somebody, but it's also, I think, a better experience traveling alone. It really pushes you out of your comfort zone, and you just grow as a person. You got to become a leader. You got to lead yourself and figure shit out, and you're going to be under some stress at times. Maybe you arrive in a city and there's no Uber, and you're like, shit, I can't find a taxi. That's happened to me. What do? You got to figure shit out. It's not the end of the world. You'll survive. So go do it, man. Turn your life into an adventure. It's not that hard, it's not that expensive, and it can literally change your life. At the worst, you're gonna have all these great experiences and memories that are gonna last you the rest of your life. Let me know all about your travels. Send me a DM on Instagram, and we'll talk there. Cheers.